Thank you, Tom. Also with us today is Mr. Mario Delgado from McAllen Metro. Mr. Delgado is the transit manager for the City of McAllen's Transit Department. The Transit Department is responsible for the administration and operations of the Metro McAllen bus system as well as the downtown bus terminal. He oversees the operation of the Metro McAllen system and assists in the overall administration of the department. He has been with the Transit Department for 6 years and worked in the Benefits Department for the City of McAllen prior to transferring to his current position. Please help me welcome Mr. Mario Delgado.
Thank you. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Yeah, like she said, I work for Metro McAllen. We are a department of the City of McAllen, and we operate strictly within the City of McAllen limits. We have 7 fixed routes, and I just realized that I didn't include our system map in a goodie bag, so I'll make sure and provide some for you guys so we can hand them out at a later time. Okay. There we go. I just wanted to define sustainability. I'm sure you guys know what it is, but I put it in there anyway. And sustainability is based on a simple principle. Everything that we need for our survival and well-being depends either directly or indirectly on our natural environment. Sustainability creates and maintains the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony that permit fulfilling the social, economic, and other requirements of present and future generations. Sustainability is important to make sure that we have and will continue to have the water, minerals, and resources to protect human health and our environment. Now, livability. Livability is about trying to about the quality and location of transportation facilities to broader opportunities such as access to good jobs, affordable housing, quality schools, safe streets. This includes addressing safety and capacity issues on all roads through better planning and design, maximizing and expanding new technologies such as ITS and the use of quiet pavements, using travel demand management approaches to system planning and operations. And basically this ties to what Robin and Tom previously mentioned. You know, it's all about how we're able to connect to our community and how we can do that in a responsible manner that will protect the environment. How do we achieve livability and sustainability? It's basically we have to have adequate transportation, you know, because it's an essential foundation of how we live, connect to others, as well as economic development. As Tom was stating, if we have projects that are within 3 miles of a bus route or a bus stop, you know, we can bring in some outside funding from the federal government, and basically for every dollar that we spend, you know, we get 9 from the federal government. Now, this also includes alternate forms of transportation that are more friendly to the environment and are essential to that mission. So basically, kind of 3 topics that I wanted to discuss would be reduce emissions, green technology, and then increased mobility. A little bit of background. I'm currently attending UTPA, and one of my classes this semester is politics of scarcity. So I did do a presentation on air pollution and air quality. So I do have a little bit of background, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. You guys can read for yourself. But EPA basically has identified 6 conventional pollutants: carbon monoxide, lead, nitrous oxides, ozone, particulate matter, and sulfur oxides. 5 of the 6, as you can see from the sources, are directly attributed to vehicles. And the last one, which are sulfur oxides, the sources are oil and chemical refineries. So indirectly, vehicle use does attribute to that particular source of pollutants. Not only that, but you could see on the far right the health effects of these pollutants. And so, you know, it's important that that information is made aware to all the individuals, so that they know the consequences. One of the things that the city is working on is we're currently partnering with the Olive Technologies. They're a company out of Boston, Massachusetts. Basically, our project that we're looking to implement is to bring electric bus technology to the area, particularly in McAllen. What we want to do is provide one of our fixed routes with electric vehicles. What those vehicles do is they charge through inductive charging. So we can put on our stops, some designated stops, we can put charging stations. So as a bus approaches that station, it doesn't have to connect to anything through inductive magnetic induction. It's charging the bus. And so basically what that does is it completely eliminates emissions on that particular vehicle, and then it doesn't impede the route having to stop to charge the bus. You know, as we're picking passengers up, the bus could be charging, and so we completely reduce emissions on those vehicles. Another thing that we're doing is we're retrofitting an existing fleet. So as compared to other technology, you know, the cost of an electric bus is approximately 1.2 million. Well, we're able to do that by retrofitting our vehicles at a fraction of the cost. So that's another important aspect. Increased mobility. Basically, one of the major components of this is connecting cyclists to transit. Several cities have been very proactive in this, one of which is Washington, D.C. They've been providing bike stations so that people can, you know, ride their bikes to a station, you know, and then access the bus to go to work. And I understand that some facilities even have access to showers, and they're secured, so you can go in there, you know, you get a little sweat going on your ride to the station, get dressed and ready to go to work, and then access the bus, which is very convenient, especially in larger metropolitan areas where congestion is a major issue. Here's an image of the Rideshare program in DC with some bikes. You can just go slide your card and get a bike and go for a ride. Basically, what does connectivity do with cyclists? It increases transit use, as has been mentioned in the previous discussions, reduces traffic congestion, improves air quality, and basically 30% of bike station users previously drove their car alone to their destination and would still be doing so if bike stations weren't available. An additional 60% were already biking and then cycle more as a result of this, you know, the connectivity. So transit is part of a long-term solution. The city has equipped all of its fleet with bike racks. The city facilities are also being equipped with biking amenities so that people can you know, ride their bikes to their work and get on the bus wherever they need to go, and then have those bikes there at the facility. The city in the last maybe 3 years has implemented about 6 miles of biking lanes throughout the city. And I understand that the city is also going to do some work on 29th Street, so also adding bike lanes on that roadway. And the city has also created approximately 10 miles of hike and bike trails along 2nd Street and along Bicentennial. And so as we look at, you know, expanding routes or realigning routes, you know, one of the major focuses is to make sure that we can tie those routes to stops along the hike and bike trails so that people have access via either walking or on their bikes. And you know, we're continuing to build density on bus routes to grow a large mass transit system and reduce congestion, lower emissions, and help overall protect the environment. Another thing, you know, Tom was telling us that all of their fleet is equipped with bike racks, so potentially somebody living in a rural community can ride their bikes to a stop along a Valley Metro's route, come to McAllen on Valley Metro, and access any point in McAllen. We can connect through a free transfer. You know, we have that connectivity between the two systems, and also bike friendly, so anybody can come in, ride a bike to the stop, get back and forth to their destination. Just a picture that'll show you a little bit of you know, how to transport 60 people. On the far left, you can see it takes those many cars to transport 60 people. It takes one bus and via bike. So you can obviously see what kind of effects it has on congestion. You know, you're able to approximately fit 10 bikes on a parking space per vehicle. So, you know, it goes a long way at reducing congestion. You know, if we if we're able to get people to ride bikes and connect with transit. I wanted to show you something, and I thought this was pretty neat. Found this on the website when I was doing some research. This website can tell you how much CO2 you emit on an individual basis via car, air, travel, home, and so basically, we have plenty of time, right? Okay. You know, on average, how many miles do you think somebody runs on the vehicles per year?
15,000 miles.
15,000? Okay, let's go 15,000. What do you say is the average mile per gallon on a vehicle? 15 miles, 20 miles? 15? So you're looking at 8.8 tons of CO2 just on your vehicle alone. Okay, let's say, you know, some of us are frequent travelers. How many short trips a year do you think you guys take between about 1,000 miles, a 2-hour round trip? Let's say maybe 3? That'd be good?
Yep.
Okay. A medium, 2,000 miles, 4-hour round trip? 1? Well, you guys don't travel that much. Either that or you're still asleep. Okay. And then a long trip, about 5,500 miles. Let's go with 1. And then I like to travel, so let's go with at least 1 for long, extended travel. And then your home, you know, you select it by the state, Texas, and most of us have electricity, right? So when you do the calculations and you total it, it's 25 tons of CO2 on an individual basis. There's approximately 6.8 billion people in the world. So it's a little too early for me to compute that, but you can get a picture of what kind of damage, you know, we're doing to our environment. And so basically, you know, it's up to us. We can make an impact if we decide to do it. Another link that I found is on the APTA, American Public Transportation Association. It shows you a calculator, and I think somebody asked earlier how you can quantify what you could save by using transit. And here's a formula, you know, and it's actually 20. So let's go with 15 miles per gallon. The price, it's about $4. So if you look at figures here, it'll cost you to move by automobile about $2,675 compared to $840 that it would cost you to commute via public transit. So you're saving roughly $1,800 a year by using public transit. And you know, if we continue as you know, public transit providers to make it accessible for people to use their bikes, you know, to walk to a bus stop, I think we could make definite strides in one, you know, reducing congestion, but also helping the environment, which is ultimately, I think, the most important goal. Another thing, just a couple things, a couple factual pieces of information. Vehicles account for about 15% of CO2 emissions, you know, overall. So it's, you know, it's not, you know, a lot, but it's still, you know, significant. Let me see. It's about 19.29 pounds per gallon of CO2 in cars, every car per year. And I found that 5 of the reasons that you know, biking is, or 5 of the reasons you would bike is, 1, for the health effects. You know, we heard from Robin that, you know, people that bike have significantly seen better have a better health status. Not only that, but because of the negative health effects of air pollutants. You know, if we reduce you know, the CO2 emissions and then we bike, you know, the health effects are going to be positive, you know, multiplied by 2. You know, it said that it's a good state of mind. You know, studies have shown that when you bike, you know, you clear your mind, it relaxes yourself, so you can also have positive health effects in that regard. And it's good for the community and the environment, and as we've seen, you know, good for your pocketbook. So some of the interesting facts about, you know, biking and transit. And that pretty much concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions. Our information is here. We're on Facebook. That's our contact information. You know, feel free to contact us. You can look online for our bus routes. You can call our dispatch for route information, ETAs on our buses.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Many years ago when I went to school in Monterey, I could go from one end of the town to the other for 15 cents. And at that time, the buses were very important to transportation. Here in the McAllen area, when I was helping provide those free tickets to people with disabilities, one of the issues was the routes, the limited number of routes. Depending on, McAllen obviously has more routes than any other city, but in other cities. And I think it was pretty obvious that because the buses aren't used as much as they are in bigger cities or like Monterey, that there wasn't an interest in making more routes because the demand wasn't there. But, you know, and the other side, the demand's not there because the routes aren't there. So how's that coming about? Are we making an investment to create more routes? And I know you're with McAllen, but with the Valley Metro.
Well, you know, I could speak for McAllen, and I know that one of the biggest, one of the projects I didn't mention that we have is we're conducting a long-term plan that's going to tell us, you know, how we can responsibly grow our system. You know, it's not cheap by any means to run a bus and pay a driver and everything, and so we have to have the demand and we have to have the ridership. But we are making strides. We're another project that we've got is coming up is the construction of a north transfer station. So we hope by doing that we can reduce the headway on our routes and increase the frequency. So that's one of the things that we're also working on. So that we are trying to figure out ways to, one, increase frequency, and two, you know, serve larger parts of McAllen. I know that is, you know, an issue of convenience, and one of the major variables that will help people make a decision between riding between driving their car or riding the bus is the convenience, and so we are working on that to address those issues. I hope that answered your question.
In regards to Valley Metro, yes, in the past it was a big factor that we didn't have connectivity or the frequencies. In October 2011, we went through a major change in our service. We actually expanded our service, but we're providing double the amount of hours, now in the whole valley, and our ridership has grown 75% from the previous year. And if we compare month to month, we're hitting 120% compared. But we're limited to the funding. Everything requires the local funding. We're not like Corpus, like Laredo, like Austin or San Antonio, who have dedicated their sales tax, a portion of their sales tax for transit. That's why they're able to run 24 hours, 7 days a week with 100 buses on the street. We don't have that mechanism here in the valley. Not even McAllen or Brownsville, they use their local general funds to fund those services. And as a result, there's a lot of limitations.
Is your website up to date as far as the route?
Yes, and we have our little system map there, the 1-800 number, we're Facebook, Blogger, Twitter, everything, so please call us.
Yeah. And I do apologize, we didn't get a chance to bring a vehicle with us today. We did get new fleet. I don't know if you guys have seen the green buses right around McAllen. So that has helped us increase ridership significantly. Again, about 2 years ago is when we implemented the bike racks on the bus, and within the first 6 months, you would see one bike on the rack, per week. And now, every time you look at a bus, the probability of having a bike on the bike rack is pretty great. So I do see a lot more people riding their bike to the stop and getting on the bus. In fact, my roommate does that and swears by it. It's saving them money on gas. Question?
Yeah, when I was in graduate school, there was a agreement between the local transit system and the university, so that we had special designated shuttle buses that were part of the larger system too, but which students could ride for free because it was we paid into it. I'm wondering if, not necessarily that exact system, but is there any kind of negotiation going on so that there's more service coming, to UTPA that students can take? Because I get increasing number of students, my car broke down, I haven't been able to come, my lights are not fixed, I can't make it to my night class and all of this, and this is what we need, is something. I'm wondering what.
I know Valley Metro is currently working with the university. I'm not too familiar. I'm sure Tom can elaborate, but the City of McAllen is also open to, to working with the university and providing any services that the university needs.
Currently, we have an agreement with the university where they're subsidizing the students. We keep a tally of how many students ride our buses, and they don't pay; they just show their ID. And once a month, we bill the university for those riders, and it's a big percentage of our riders. So it is in place.
So students can ride for.
Right now, yes.
Do they know that?
That's where we're doing a lot of outreach and marketing to let the students know that. Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Virginia Haney Goss, and I work over here at the library since 1973. And I'd just like to tell you, when I moved here 900 miles from Alabama, I came by bus. My mother said, "Do you want to go Trailway or do you want to go Greyhound?" And I said, "I want to go Greyhound. They've got the nicer buses." Well, I didn't know in San Antonio that at that time, that Greyhound didn't come to the valley in 1973. So I had to transfer 5 blocks away from Greyhound to the Trailway station, and I had 3 boxes and 3 suitcases and a large frying pan.
I'm sorry to hog the mic, but I would recommend, if there was some way for everybody here in this room and those people that sent us here to actually take the bus, even for whatever reason, to go see how the routes are, or to see how we do the, how do you say it when you go from the McAllen Metro system to the Valley Metro system, the transfers?
Yes.
And, I think that would help us support this public transportation.
And I think that's a great idea, and yet by all means that we encourage everybody to try the bus. Give it a shot and see how you like it. I'm sure you'll be impressed with the vehicles, with the drivers of both Valley Metro and Metro McAllen.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Delgado.